Okay. 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 It was
Hold up, I
live.
gotta load it up on my screen.
Go. Got audio and everything.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay.
Boom. Already got 3 followers.
How we do? What's up, everybody?
What is up, chat?
Your boy Flow Tap, my
And your
good
guy,
friend.
Dot Kev.
Set. Set.
My
We
bad.
are
My bad.
here. Oh, you good? You good? We're here
Excited.
with
Excited.
our brand new endeavor, Pod,
Yes.
to talk to y'all every week. Curiosity Exchange, where we exchange ideas, share curiosities with one another. Talk about some
Absolutely.
shit.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I like to think of it as a place where any idea, should be able to be conveyed upon us, right? We get our chance to dissect it, look into it, discover possibly, stuff hidden between it. Because, man, one of the reasons I feel like we did this is just because there's so many questions to ask.
Tell me.
You know what I mean? And it's fun enough to talk, just go back and forth about things and whatnot, but it'd be nice to bring in other people.
Exactly that. Exactly that. Maybe get some new information, different opinions, insight, chat popping off. You know what I mean? It'll be a great experience. And maybe we could share some wisdom that we've learned, though. Some truths, different things.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is 100% true. Um, man, speaking of that, for the first one, guess we should probably tell them a little bit about like what makes us curious,
Okay, okay.
like what what sparked you looking, what was the like event where you were like, man, that was weird, or that was like just something that happened, like that was just mysterious,
Oh
that like
God.
first tipped you off.
I would say I've always been, since a young age, a little too aware of things, probably for my own good. I always thought about shit in a different way, but I didn't really start thinking conspiracies or
Hmm.
phenomenons, things like that, until realistically, right around like 18, 19, something like that. And
Right,
it was after 9/11. You know what I mean? I'm a
right, right.
OG, like I'm older than you and shit. So that was the real first big one for us that had us like, yo, they not telling us the truth. You know what I mean? And people started dropping documentaries. There was this one infamous now at this point and legendary. It was called Loose Change. And
Right.
once I found out about Tower 7, that was it for me. Because I watched all the news reporting live. I remember when Tower 7 fell, I was 14, too young to really even think about it back then and pay
Hmm.
attention. But then going back and looking at it like, oh yeah, that tower fell down and it never got hit by a plane.
Mm.
Yeah. Then you look into it further, like you start looking into it, documentaries come out, and you find out that that was a building that housed a lot of federal files.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Because so never to like discredit, attacks or nothing like that or anything, but it always seems like there's so much that goes around it, you know what I mean? Because like even
Yes.
just for a person living in the world, right? Your house burns down. What burned down the house? What did you lose from that interaction, right? And then it comes into play, and you think of the world, and like you watch TV shows like NCIS or stuff like that, and they always dig a little bit deeper into things, and you find out maybe this guy burned his house down because he didn't want this to be found out and stuff like that. Where does the line cut off for that? You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
like if a
Exactly.
normal guy who's not even like say like a one percenter or some shit like that, right? just like needed to get a break from his insurance claim or something that he was doing, he'd burn down his house immediately. You know what I'm saying? He would go get the money, reinvest, stuff like that. Now imagine that, but like so amplified to a point where, hey, because I've looked into that a little bit myself through my conspiracies. It's like, maybe these numbers need to be changed. We need someone not to see something here. And it's a little weird. The certain files that were, you know, and then to that point, it goes even deeper because once you get into like big litigation and stuff like that, what's the chain of commands? Who told who to put what files where? That's how deep you want to go. And then sometimes it's like, there are coincidences,
Oh yeah,
maybe
always.
there are. But it's just wild to think that, like, because that's a big opener. I think that is like when 2000s opened up, like, specifically, that's what shot it off.
Yeah, I think it was big events like that, and really the propagation of the internet and like full good computer middle class and lower class people and shit
Yes.
getting into that exchange of information. Once that floodgate was open.
Hmm. I can see that. I can see that for sure. Yeah. Um. Hmm. For me, on the other stand, right? I've always just like you wanted to question stuff like to the point where even when like I was a little kid, like different mythos and shit like that, wanting to stay up, see if Santa Claus shows up. Like why he got to get milk and cookies, man?
Right,
Why
right.
he got why we got to put out these milk and cookies, right?
What's the
Who
lore
made me
behind
bake?
this guy?
Yeah, who is this
Yeah.
man? You know what I'm saying? And learn about like shit like Saint Nicholas and stuff like that. But no, no, no.
Oh yeah.
And then like calling out stuff, right? Like one time, losing a tooth at school, right? Kept it a secret, kept it to myself, put it in my pocket, my little jean pocket. It was like, yeah, got that bitch, because I'm thinking I'm about to be up like $1 because I'm
Oh
a fucking millennial, I'm damn near half your age, right? No, no hate, no hate. This man ages like wine. Don't attack him, crowd. But so when I was younger, and I got home with the tooth, right? Got to the
yeah.
bed, put it under my pillow when I went to bed that night. Slept, woke up in the morning, tooth still there, right? I run in, got the tooth in my hand. Mom, dad, tooth fairy in the world that I had
Yeah,
as a kid,
yeah.
right?
Why you spoil it for yourself?
I was doing stuff like that, but then shit starts happening. It's like probably like in middle school was when I was more on the internet than ever, looking into different stuff. Like, oh shit, my camera
Watch camera. Yeah,
tweaking.
yeah.
Yeah, 1 second, chat. 1 second. I can fix that. I can fix that. Don't worry, it's gonna look weird for a second. I
Boom.
promise. It'll go
Right
right
back
back
in
to
there.
normal.
Third.
So, with that being said, right, that was my first time ruining the mystery of the world for me, right? And then middle school is when I was really on the internet and everything, listening to like stories like copy pasta, creepy pasta, internet dives and stuff. Probably the biggest like questioner was when like the Mandela effect started coming up to me. When I started noticing that going around. That was when it really just like hit me. It was like, whoa, so many people in this world got to start questioning stuff. And then from that point I just grew up and started watching, different media and different things that
Yeah,
involved looking into stuff.
yeah, yeah. It's quite interesting the juxtaposition because like it in my day when I was like your age and shit, the internet was such a different place. Like we had social
Yeah.
media, but it was MySpace.
It was
You know what I
MySpace,
mean?
yeah.
It was my maybe a Tumblr here and there type shit. So it was it was a whole different world. It was like the difference between playing an open world RPG versus one that's on rails. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah,
internet
yeah,
became
yeah.
a guided experience, and then at a certain point, and I want to say because it was always there in like YouTube and Vimeo and shit like that. You'd always find the
Mhm.
documentaries and on websites, but like I do have to thank I gotta say TikTok mainly
Mhm.
for causing all of the other social medias to adopt its successful shorts policy, and
So,
TikTok itself for the way that your generation started using it to spread information. if that makes sense.
Right.
Because it like now my kids, people around your age and shit, y'all have spent some years on an internet where if you've cultivated your algorithm in the proper way, not proper way, but just you've cultivated your algorithm to things how you think and shit,
Hmm.
it's just good. Like you're gonna get nuggets of great conspiracy info and shit that you would have had to dig for back in the day.
Back in
You
the
know what I
day.
mean? Like
Yeah.
you'd had to go on a forum somewhere or some shit. And now you just scrolling through TikTok and somebody's like, "Hey, did you know Epstein fucking ran a
Yada
pedophilia
yada
ring?"
this,
And
yada yada.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like
yeah,
what?
yeah. It's like, what do you mean? It's, well, that's main stage news. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
bro.
fucking like, yeah. So, and then you bring up TikTok, right? You're
Mhm.
saying, so I agree. TikTok, I feel like, is where the theorists like, because it's just gotten so wide and it's been able to live so long. It has
Yep.
that longevity that has been able to get to this point.
Yeah.
Um, but like the progenitor, because like I grew up in that, right?
Mhm.
The progenitor was Vine.
Fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely fine.
Vine
Definitely
was the
fine.
progenitor because you got
Mhm.
like superstars, right? And this is like probably like podcast 26 before y'all even get into this, right? Before we even explain why I'm saying what I'm saying. But like you got people in Vine that got super big and famous, right? Uh, you got like DC Young Fly, Daystorm Power, King Batch. You got all those people that made their hits,
Yeah.
right? Like just
Yep.
started coming off, right? Got these big deals, went on to like MTV, did shows, went into like the Hollywood scene and everything. We know what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
And
You.
uh so that started it, and then Vimeo, I think you said there's the second app that came out right after Vine. It was called Musically,
I remember
right?
music. Yeah, yeah.
Vine basically handed the torch to Musically because Vine was getting banned, right? Musically picked it up, and that was when it was like, oh, let's add music to this and let's do like popularized dances and make this whole new subculture and everything. And then Musically, like I think it only lasted like 3 years, immediately turned to TikTok, and that was when exactly what you're saying happened. It was when almost got taken more seriously.
Yeah, 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 a bit. You know what I mean? And I feel like the way that the algorithm works on TikTok, especially back then, like 2019, 2020 area, or, right around there, like
Mm-hmm.
it was by far the best algorithm showing you shit you want to see. So like you could get
Oh yeah.
somebody that posts a conspiracy thought video just sitting in their chair, and that shit goes overnight in front of 1,000, 2,000 people, and they're all just like, "Oh yeah, fuck with
Yep.
it." You know what I mean? And it just
Yeah,
made
this is
people like,
crazy. This is
"Yo, I
something I
could
want
just
to look
spread
at.
these ideas." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was, oh man, little groups were
Mm-hmm.
forming and shit. It was something.
And then and it's at a different pace too, because like you'll watch like say YouTube when it was in Prime, you watch like a 10-minute YouTube video. I remember a point where if you were a gaming content creator and you weren't like over 500,000 followers and something like that, you were making 10-minute clips. You
Oh
were
yeah,
making 10-minute gaming clips. You were chopping them up like that because that was about how long people could just stand watching a gameplay unless they loved you,
yep,
unless you were like their idol and they wanted to watch you specifically. Um, but now it's to a point where a minute,
yeah, yeah.
boom, now it's sent to like 100 people saw it, 10 people shared it. Those 10 people that they shared it, each one of them got shot 100 times. Boom, that's 500.
And then within that, you got 5, 10 people at every stop that might react to it too on their
Mm-hmm.
social media. Like, yo, I just saw this. You guys should check this out because what he's really saying here is can also have its problems, but it is mostly a beautiful
Oh yeah,
thing.
oh yeah. I think it propagates the right amount of thought, but sometimes, man, it feels like people get distracted too easily.
Yep, yep, 1,000% that, 1,000%.
Okay,
Oh, oh,
man. So, well, intros. What's up? What's up?
what keep it light. What's the fun conspiracy or theory or something like that that you've been hearing about or looked into recently?
Fun conspiracy or something.
Yeah,
Looking
what's
into
got your
recently.
curiosity?
Hmm. I've been watching. I guess I like theory videos and stuff like that, but also when they reach into like the realness of the media,
Yeah, yeah,
if that makes sense. So for example, I wrote this down actually because I wanted to bring it up to you on our first episode because I figured we do something a little bit lighter, and this might be some people from like my generation they can like attach this idea, and I don't think you know too much about it. So, have you heard of creepypastas?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you've heard of creepypastas, right? Do you know the origins of creepypastas?
Not for real.
Okay,
Is
so
this? I think it's what, Tumblr shit.
close. It is Tumblr, probably more so 4chan and Reddit would be the era it came from. Um, so basically, how creepypasta started was, do you know what a copy pasta is?
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
you
yeah.
Google everything, you know what a copy
That's
pasta is,
that shit has infiltrated WoW for many years.
right. So it started with like emails, like fucking wow. Started with like
Yeah.
emails and office emails and stuff like that. So a copy pasta is like a funny story or something. You would copy it and send it to like 10 of your links, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It can make like short stories and stuff like that, get moved around, become like local lore or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So what creepypasta is when the copypastas were starting to move dark stories. And early ones would be like the most famous early copypasta to creepypasta translation that I can think that it was like rooted to its core was smiledog.jpg, right? Which is just this image of this dog, like ravenous creature, right? And you would send it, and it's like you have to send this to 100 people, or Smile Dog's gonna come get you. Is the premise of the story, and it's just a guy who disregards it. And it's just like, man, yeah, right, good job, Billy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This ain't gonna be nothing, right? Gets hunted down by the entity in the picture. So, on that note, what I mean about the media perspective is that there was a subculture of it. They're a little bit hated on. Some of them are cherished because they were really well done. Some of them are hated because you get a lot of your cliches and stuff in horror stories like this. Um, it was called Squidward's Suicide. Now, have you heard about this and what transpired on Nickelodeon? And this is like 8 years after this story would have even been like popular. You know what I mean?
Wait, it's not about
So
like a lost episode of SpongeBob, is it?
So it is. It is a hundred.
I think
It's
I've
it's
heard a
lost
little bit
episode.
about it. Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so basically, the story of Silver Suicide is Squidward, and this is just gonna all go from memory from me watching and listening and reading this stuff growing up.
Yeah,
Um, it depicts Squidward having like the worst day he's ever had in SpongeBob, right? Which is a huge contrast to the happy-go-lucky world that they live in. My camera is gonna start doing the spazzing thing, which is crazy that I'm talking about creepypastas and that shit's happening. But so he's going through his day.
definitely
He's
got a view. Go ahead.
oh, you know what I'm saying? You know
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying? No.
But he goes to a concert, right? He goes to work. He has a terrible day at work. He has a clarinet concert afterwards. Clarinet concert goes horrible, right? And then
Yeah,
it cuts to Squidward at his house, right? And he's sitting in his house, and bro blows his shit back, dog, right? And it was supposed to have aired on this time. I can't find a VHS of it. I remember watching this as a kid. Has anyone else seen this? It gets moved as like lost media type shit.
yeah.
Um, so what happens 8 years later after this like ruins a bunch of kids' childhoods and shit like that. I'll fix my camera while I keep talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, uh, Basically, Nickelodeon does a modern episode of SpongeBob. A good point for us to transition to the manor so we can show them this because this is wild. This is wild, right? Real quick, transfer to the manor, real quick, boys. Don't you worry about it. This is our
Don't worry about it.
auditorium. This is our auditorium where we'll be showing you guys stuff. This is DuckDuckGo. If you don't use DuckDuckGo to search things, please switch from Google and start using DuckDuckGo.
They do have a
Um,
browser, although I would recommend.
yes, Brave browser. Yep. Brave, holla at your boys.
Got you.
So go ahead and look up Squidward Suicide for me real quick. Look up Squidward Suicide, and let's just look at that image first so you can get an understanding of what was moved around so much.
Slash redness.
Yeah, Red Mist is actually a different story. So go ahead and click images. Specifically click Okay, get rid of red mist. Get rid of red mist. That's gonna clog it up too much. Okay, scroll down. Click that one over there to the right, where there's like a door behind them.
This one?
Yes. So this is the image that was always associated with Squidward suicide.
Okay.
Right. This thing is like burned into my memories. 8 years later, Nickelodeon does this episode where Squidward and SpongeBob have to. This is real. This is real shit. They have to go deliver Krabby Patties to this bizarro world inside of Bikini Bottom. In there, there's this wall of doors, and they're trying to find the right door. And they're opening them. It's like, wow, this world's filled with pizza. This world's filled with water. Or like, even though they're underwater type shit, this world's filled with this. And in the original airing on Nickelodeon, Squidward opens a door, and if you go back one, it's literally their depiction of red mist in the middle of daytime TV with fucking 8-year-old, like from like 6 to fucking 12-year-olds watching. And I'm not. We can look up the clip too. We can go watch the clip, and it's just it's wild to me to think that like because they had to change it. They immediately changed it. Like I don't remember if it was the FCC specifically or if they just got so much backlash because kids were probably screaming to their parents
Yeah.
when they saw Squidward just bleeding and shit like that. And then they probably looked up what it is because of today's internet. You know what I mean? Went and found the story. You know, and that's just wild to me that something like that would fly. Dude, I mean, we gotta see the clip, right?
Got to. So
So look
YouTube?
up modern SpongeBob Squidward suicide clip.
Let's go right here.
Go to videos.
Videos.
In SpongeBob for Real, the creepypasta is canon. That bottom video right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's from the episode. Look at that. You see that shit?
This place is a nightmare. No one's ever returned.
Got the clip. Yep, there we go. They replaced it with the baby Squidward after that.
Okay.
Imagine that in your fucking living room. Kids watching it.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild. So
And yeah, what's up?
no, that's not uncommon in kid shows, right?
Where they
Not that
like
specifically, but wild shit like that. How far down that rabbit hole are you?
I mean, I know there's some pretty crazy stuff. Like I think a super popularized one was it Chip and Dale Adventures? They got like the naked lady in the background clip.
Yeah,
They're, like
Rescue
flying
Rangers.
around. Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Okay. Um, let me think for a second. So, do you remember Rocco's Modern Life? Nickelodeon?
I passionately remember Rocco's Modern Life.
Do you remember what his job was?
Rocco's job,
Yeah.
like his actual career,
What he did for work in the show.
he sold cars. Didn't know.
This will be a fun one.
Well, I mean, I don't really. I remember the antics. I guess, yeah. As a kid, I never really paid attention to what he was doing for work.
Oh, this would be perfect.
You missed as a kid. Okay.
Rocco's Modern
Doing
Life
Rocco's
is a
Modern
children's
Life.
television series about a wallaby who immigrates to Ocho
Let's
from
summon
Sierra
demons.
Vista and happens to make a ton of masturbation jokes. Rocco and his friends Heifer, Filbert, and Spunky are just trying to
Sorry, I
live
just
their
saw
lives,
something in the
but there's
background of that
definitely a ton
opening
of dirty
title
jokes
sequence.
everywhere they turn.
Yeah.
I'm Whitney Van Lanningham, and today we're taking a look at all of the dirtiest adult jokes in Rocco's Modern Life. Number 8. When Rocco's old vacuum cleaner dies on him, he and Heifer start watching Loboto Shop, which is basically O-Town's version of the Home Shopping Network. They see an ad for the Suck-O-Matic, a bigger, better vacuum cleaner. This baby has so
Yeah.
many features, it promises to clean your colon and operates as a cheap liposuction alternative. The infomercial literally brainwashes them into buying a brand new Suck-O-Matic, and they start cleaning right away. After discovering the button that allows them to wash his dog Spunky, Rocco notices this little feature on his new household appliance.
Gee, maybe we should try the neutering device later.
Get it? 'Cause balls. Number 7.
Okay.
This episode is
Doesn't tell me what his
titled
job is, though.
No.
Carnal knowledge, so you know it's gonna be dirty right off the bat. When a carnival comes to the local sewage treatment plant, Rocco and Heifer
Okay.
have to go.
We have to watch a
The
different one.
rides
This
at the
could be fun,
carnival are
but I want
super
you
unsafe
to
and horrible,
get his job.
including the merry-go-round.
Yeah, I gotta
with
see what
countless
Rocco's
features and
doing
cannibal
for a living.
animals that have to do with sex, like beavers and snakes and chickens. But the real kicker comes when you notice the ride
This is a job search.
Could you get the
Hotline?
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Rocco. Mrs. Bighead? Well, Spunky.
During his job search.
What
Yeah.
in the world?
Yeah. We read that back. We stay on the wall.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
One-on-one hotline. Remember,
Rocco.
be hot, be naughty, be
Mrs. Bighead?
courteous. What in the
Spunky.
Oh
world?
baby, oh baby, oh yeah. It was a phone sex operator.
Nickelodeon
So
is wild with what they got away
yeah,
with. And that's not even like
Nickelodeon was
going into
wild.
the deep side of that, you know?
No, yeah.
Like,
That's
I don't even
without
think we
going
need
into
to
that.
touch Mr. Schneider yet.
We'll keep that copacetic for right now.
Oh,
Real
yeah.
easy. But yeah, there's so many things like that over the years. Disney was notorious for it, particularly some of the early
Yeah, like their
90s.
VHS stuff.
Oh yeah. Some of their cartoons. I remember, shoot, I think we just saw one the other day when we were just having a personal conversation, watching a video. Had asked about Illuminati in the background.
Yeah, like one of the old Mickey Mouse ones.
Yeah, there's the scene in Aladdin where people have found, I believe it's an audio clip. I can't remember if it's an audio clip or a writing somewhere in the scene. Says like, all good little boys steal, shit like that.
Pinocchio?
Pinocchio, bro.
Pinocchio's crazy. Like when you think of Pinocchio in the Daily Age, like if you haven't went back and watched that movie, it is not what you originally thought.
Yeah, here we go. We can watch this little clip out real quick.
Pinocchio, 1940. The coachman hires Honest John to collect stupid little boys.
Hi, still got in a silver cane. Watch him gold with a diamond chain. Hi, diddly day. An actor's life is gay. It's great to be a celebrity. An actor's life for me. And the dollar
Celebrity,
fell
huh?
for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Man's eating his smoke.
And he still thinks we're his friends. And did Stromboli pay? Plenty. That shows you how low Honest John will stoop. Hey, Giddy?
Drunk ass kid.
Coachman? What's your proposition? Well,
This guy right here.
how
Yeah.
would you blokes like to make some real money?
Okay, Epstein.
Well,
Type shit,
do
like,
we have to,
Why he got such a big bag?
No.
He's like, do we need to kill him?
Like that. You see,
Why he looking around?
I'm collecting stupid little boys. Stupid little boys? You know, the disobedient ones what play hooky from school. Oh. And you see,
takes him to Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island? But the law. Suppose they... No, there's no risk. They never come back. As boys.
They never come back. As boys?
Yeah.
Now, I've got a coach load leaving at midnight. We'll meet at the crossroads. And no double crossing. No, sir. Scout around. And any good prospects you find, bring him to
But yeah.
me. Yes, Chief. I'll pay you well. I got
They've been talking about this shit for 8, bro.
Which is just, it's crazy to think too, because these aren't modern issues, you know. That like came out in 1940.
1940, my guy.
That's 2 years before like World War II. You know what I mean?
Which we're gonna have to do a couple of different episodes. Some more.
Oh yeah, we
But-
gotta take a deep dive and see
Yeah.
what we can dig up and find about stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
That's a crazy, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like media just seems to almost push and emulate that darker side of stuff, and specifically, it's in our kids shows. You know what I mean? Which is like cool because it's always been under the commentary of, oh well, you know, it's just because they want the adults in the room to have something to laugh at too, and it's like.
Right.
Nah, bro, you can totally keep that out of my kids shows and still make it funny. You know what I mean? Like kids, it doesn't take a lot to make kids laugh until you push them.
Right. And then like, what's funny to an adult about getting little boys to go to Pleasure Island?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like the scene, for example, Little Mermaid, the original Little Mermaid movie. I believe it was the preacher standing there marrying him. He got wood.
You do.
Bricked
He
up.
do.
You know what I mean? Like so just
That's
shit
it.
like that. Like what's funny
what I'm
about
saying.
this? This
In
nigga
the
doing a
Little
wedding
Mermaid-
ceremony, he got bricked. Like,
Isn't it on the like Little Mermaid's VHS box, right? It's like the staircase to like the Golden City or something. I don't think it might not be Little.
I don't remember if it's the Little, it
But
might be
there's-
Beauty and the
there's
Beast, but I
literally-
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's just a dick in the background of it on a fucking kid's VHS, and it's like, why would they even do that? I take a rip, right? You think?
You know why? Oh yeah.
Okay, but
Look on myself. We out here. We got the 18 plus tag.
we do.
Shout out, kid.
Shout out, kick.
Love what y'all doing out here.
Absolutely, man. Okay, so yeah, we talked a little bit about media. What else? What else are we looking at?
I mean, people that's gonna try and join us on this journey. It's exchange of ideas and curiosity. Like, just know we in this for the long haul. Like that's
Oh, yeah.
what like we have
We have piles.
so many things to talk about. Like
We
it's
have-
almost endless. You know what I mean? Because
It is.
what y'all need to know about us is we're not ever going to be the types of content creators call it are going to frivolously promote ideas.
Yes.
Like if there's some shit we talking about and we saying, yo, this is what we think, I should hear about this, blah blah blah. It's because we looked into it and at least took a deep dive.
Yes.
It goes
We've
deeper than that.
always,
Like we
we've
can't
always
just
taken
surface skim.
consideration.
Yeah. Hey.
Yes. And it's like we definitely want to build it up over time. You know, that's a big thing. Yeah, I guess a big thing is that we're always going to double check. You know, we want to look a little bit deeper into things. We're going to definitely give you multiple perspectives. That's a big thing, is we're going to look at it from both sides, right? From like the people who animated the cells type shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? To like what the person feels like in the living room when they're watching the TV or when they're experiencing this for themselves. And like
Mhm.
above all else, two real ass normal people.
That's it, bro. That's it.
You know what I mean?
It
Ain't
really
nothing
is on
crazy
the same
going on.
journey y'all on. You're just trying to figure out the truth.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's see. I guess on what's another thing that we can dive into real quick?
I mean, for right now, this little intro episode to give them a taste of the breadth of our topics and shit. Pop out a couple of interesting things that we've seen over the days. I was scrolling on Twitter just a little bit earlier. I think I might have sent it to you, as a matter of fact. And gentlemen, let me see if I can't pull it up.
Oh yeah.
As a reference. Oh no, that is the same. So I don't know if I sent you that. It was an interesting article from another. You remember Jay Anderson?
Yes.
Okay. It was another one of those types of cats. He is currently in Egypt. And I can't remember if it was sonar or that he was using, and claims to have 100% certainly discovered a second Sphinx
Discovered a second Sphinx.
in Egypt near Giza complex. I don't think it was in it. And he said,
Mm.
according to his scans, the head is completely different. Everything else the same, head different. Which is very fascinating to me because something that I've a few times through learnings through or worry,
Mhm.
particularly into like history, looking at videos from people, listening to talks from people like Randall Carlson, Graham Hancock, all these.
Yeah.
And it's if this turns out to be true, it's almost a certainty that their theories were correct, that at some point the people inherited Egypt, altered the head of the Sphinx for whatever reason, whether to emulate one of pharaohs, to disparage what was there in the first place for whatever reason. I don't really know that. There's always been a question about that simply because of the scale of the head itself to the body of the Sphinx. Now, if this second one turns out to be correct, see, supposedly this guy is revealing pictures and all of this information on some dude's podcast sometime coming up here in the next month or two. And yeah, that would kind of be a game changer.
That would be because it justifies stuff, right? And that's another thing too is that the veil can't get pulled over us as easily now.
No.
You know what I mean? Because like for example, when first discoveries happens of like tombs and stuff like that, it's usually up to the archaeologist or whoever finds it and stuff like that, whatever board they're working with, to like give out the information upon it. Whereas Jay Anderson, since we know of him being, he's a freelancer, he's doing this on his own accord to a degree. There's obviously funding, there's always funding. You know what I mean? It gives it a chance to see if that's true because there's no way. How deep was the Sphinx when it was first found? You know what I mean? Like the head had to have been poking out, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, which time are you talking about?
like the Sphinx.
When the dynastic Egyptians or inherited that land came there, or are you talking about when all of that shit was rediscovered in more modern times? Because we have photos from when, like, the European archaeologists and some of the early archaeologists, I think the famous one, I think it was a French guy found it the very first time. But the Sphinx and the pyramid were almost entirely covered in sand dune.
And then it was just dug out over time.
And there's much more underneath. We know from scans that there is huge cavities, structures, all of these things underneath Giza complex. I believe it's called the Giza Plateau. Like a big, large slab of stone in this sandy bedrock or sandy foundation, if you will. And some of the more recent things have been pretty interesting. I remember last year there was a big controversy about the scans that came out, and it showed what appeared to be large, like larger than the height of the pyramid itself, pillars underneath. You remember seeing those images?
So I do. Unfortunately, I did a huge deep dive into that because I love pyramids. That was AI generated.
Well, yes
To a
and no.
degree. Yeah,
To
like the
agree,
ones
it
that
was
were getting like
AI's
moved.
interpretation of the data that they got from the scans.
Right.
Yeah.
But like
And
I the original scans, yeah, but like to the magnitude that it was pushed around, there are pillars under it. Correct. 100%.
well, what appeared to be pillars. We don't know for sure that they were.
Mhm.
That's just you're correct in saying what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
when the information started floating around, people were like, "Oh, these fucking ginormous pillars under the pyramid. It proves that it's a
They're
power
making it bigger
station."
than life.
Yeah. What we do know is that there is something that appeared in the scans under. It
100%.
appeared to be some sort of very interesting, considering the connection to water underneath of the Giza complex and what it's been speculated that the pyramid itself was. With some of the materials, and we should probably do an episode about this. Focus is exclusively on this. So much meat, but like with the collection of materials that were found there, water, sound resonance from the way that the inside of the Great Pyramid of Giza were all built, and the fact that no bodies were ever found inside of the pyramid. Ever.
Right.
If you've ever seen the sarcophagus, that shit large enough to fit a bull.
Yeah.
But on top of it, it's designed in a very unique way, and this is pure theory.
Mm-hmm.
But it does happen to match the dimensions of what the supposed ark.
So
Now, I don't know how much you've dug into the Ark of the Covenant. I know a lot of people stay away from that stuff because it's a bit more mythological, fairy tale-ish to some people than
why is my camera keep doing this? Sorry.
scientific. Oh, you're good. But even in the base descriptions of the powers, quote unquote, and things that happened and could be done while in possession of the Ark of the Covenant, there were a lot of people who theorized and speculated with actual experiments, one of which is in the series we'll dive into at some point, 0 Point, that it actually, the way the dimensions as described in the Bible and what the material was said to have been used to craft it, gold and all of these specific materials, there was a lot of speculation that it was some kind of, I believe the word is conductor or transformer or something like that, a storer and transporter of energy.
A battery of sorts?
Theoretically plugged into a giant sarcophagus inside of a place, Pyramid of Giza, specifically the Great Pyramid of Giza, specifically. That very well could have been a power plant.
Yeah, true. And it would make sense because it'd be like the CPU.
Hmm.
It'd be the central point, possibly with the way that it's like described in that, you know, a beyond reality architecture of it, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
It could be a computer.
And then when you factor in all of the stories of what it could, what power it held within it, or
Mhm.
the aura of it,
No.
people that would go near it would die and get sick from things that are
Nah, man, you gotta
described.
open the sarcophagus like in Indiana Jones, bro, and then you die. You gotta open it first.
These niggas just from being around it were dying from essentially like radiation sickness
Radiation
symptoms.
poison. Oh, they didn't have
And
that rat away.
true.
True. True.
Interesting thing about that, Graham Hancock, he had published a few books before this point, but he really started making a name for himself in Normie's eyes, I guess the regular societal zeitgeist. When
We'll call them
he,
viewers.
you said what?
We'll call them viewers.
Yours. There we go.
Yeah.
Like they, he went to Ethiopia and he went there chasing rumors that he had heard about the Ark of the Covenant being snuck out of where it was held, I believe, somewhere in Europe, and moved down to Ethiopia. He guarded at this specific location, spent some time there, ingratiated himself with stuff, and met with a couple of these guys. There's only ever one of them at a time, and they don't last long because all of them die from cancerous radiation, bowel sickness type disease. They're dedicated to the idea of protect location of the ark, even though there's a lot of speculation that it's since been moved.
Yeah, to the back of the warehouse.
Essentially, like, yes, there's a place where it's supposedly held. There's a whole tunnel system said to be speculated or that was described to him. And funny thing about the Ethiopians is they still to this day, with their Orthodox Ethiopian Christianity, have a full version of the Bible, some people say. Their Bible uses all of the books.
Like
Book
the
of
ones before Genesis and
Enoch,
everything. Yeah, the book of
yeah,
Enoch.
yeah, all of those that describe the antediluvian, the pre-flood world.
Yes.
So they are fascinating peoples. It is very. I don't know the veracity of it. I would imagine if it did ever exist there, it doesn't anymore. However, that is one of the places I want to scratch off my bucket list for visiting. Among those other things, or among that, there's a few other things involving historical shit. They're cathedrals that are carved into mountains and shit like that. Like they're a fascinating society. Their location, very interesting to me. I don't know how much you know about the Sahara Desert, but at a certain point in our history, that the Sahara was.
Yes. I've heard
It's
plenty about that.
also almost a certainty at this point that the in modernity would call them the dynasty, but it's not the Egyptian dynasty. It's the dynasty society.
Hmm.
Not only did it go south along the Nile, Nile also ran west or east, drained out in the flowed Sahara, and all along that were cities. the eye of the Sahara, many people speculate could have been Atlantis.
I've heard that several times. Is that the Eye of the Sahara is like geologically with the way it's shaped and everything the best
Oh, yeah.
place for the eye. Sorry, my bad. For the lost city of Atlantis,
Oh yeah.
which is crazy. Which makes it. That's another media thing, is because how often does media portray the lost city of Atlantis as this deep underwater culture?
Right.
You know what I mean? When in reality, it's like, no. Like, we know from seeing water lines in the ground and everything, like when you go to deep trenches, like the Grand Canyon and stuff like that, there's a point where there's a lot of fucking water, bro. Like, it's
Yep.
most likely it got surfaced than it did get submerged, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we know that Atlantis had rings that were water based, right? So it doesn't make sense that it would get submerged. It feels like,
Well,
hmm,
counterpoint to that. That's why I brought up
yeah,
the map. So you can see it's right here.
hmm.
Zoom out.
Isn't this like the runoff of the water, right?
Hmm.
I think I've seen this before. Yeah, like the way
So
that like the yeah,
it's entirely likely that right here, the original coastline,
yes,
if you will, the water came all the way up to here,
hmm,
and the rings themselves were part. Like, have you seen the popularized artist rendition of the Rings of Atlantis?
I have, but we might as well pull them up because I remember when I went into a deep dive about this. I think it was like a year ago was when I was looking into this. I had definitely seen the image. Yeah, bro, them rings is blinging, and they might be worn by motherfuckers in Atlantis, but they ain't they made the rings of Atlantis.
That is not what we wanted.
Yeah.
So, very, very possible, looking at this, that rings were this right here was part of the waterway. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And we do a big old fat zoom out here.
You can see the striations.
See what happened. See all throughout here what happened. Whole region. So the most likely scenario is you heard of well, I won't say the most likely. Leading idea right now that is
Mhm.
getting backing from scientific papers and adding credibility is the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. And you know what the Younger Dryas period was?
The Younger Dryas. That was before flood, right?
It was, yes, it was what we would consider before flood. It was our last ice age. It was about 10,000 to 12,500 ago, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly. Let me. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. So.
Zoom in the web page.
Boom. Excellent. Okay. So we got
Boiling.
Pleistocene here. This is
Yeah.
Cold, 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 cold. Right.
Freezing. Yeah, I
We
see.
had some sort of event that happened right here. Raised the temperature up almost to modernity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it cooled back down. The Younger Dryas period rose again. That. Then we had another event that happened, which caused the rapid heat. Okay. During this period of time, it is speculated
That there was an impact.
yes, but it was a different world. So we go over here to America.
Mhm.
Everything from here
Yeah.
up, all is covered in ice. All is covered in ice. Just like this shit. All huge ice sheet over North America. Same thing here. Huge ice sheet over all this shit right here. Okay.
Mhm.
The theory is that there was a rather large object that either fractured into multiple smaller objects and dot, 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 dot impacted across those,
Mhm.
or it was just multiple smaller objects. Either way, there
Right.
wasn't one large strike, it was multiple. And leading idea is that it happened when we were going through a particularly dense spot in the Torrid meteor stream, which we're also going through right now, which is more than likely cause for meteors and asteroids or meteors that we've been seeing right now.
And that's when our Earth goes through like the different plane in the solar system, right?
Yes. Oh, ooh,
And we travel through that big like space rock
yeah,
like
that's
line.
yeah. Well, I can't remember if that's
Leave.
the Oort cloud or the Torrid meteors, but yes, it is involved directly in our solar system traveling through these different varying regions of space, if you will, some of which are rife with objects. And it, there is much actual scientific backed data right now pointing towards that theory. True. Now, that being said, the melt off would have also happened from something like micronova, geomagnetic excursion. Our sun powering up, hitting us with a blast, and causing the equivalent to large scale plasma storms. So instead of lightning strikes, picture tornado vortex diameter size plasma ball carving into the ground because our ionosphere field are so charged that it has to release. Capable of carving out, picture the impact when it hits the ground, carving out rivers and canyons and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hell on earth type scenario, which I favor that idea simply because of what's called the squatting man. Squatting man?
I've not heard of Squatting Man.
Squatting man is fascinating. And it ties directly in. It's these guys right here. So these are all over the world. Okay. Arizona, Armenia, Guyana, New Mexico, like everywhere across the world. Not one specific location. So many varied locations, right? And these images right here are called the spotting meme. I'll zoom in on this one. Yeah, okay. This is good anyway, because it shows the reverence that some of these Aboriginal tribes across the world still hold for the squad, do celebrations, objects on their head. And these are the Dogon, the people that I told you about that knew about Sirius A. That whole.
Yeah. Yeah. Whole
Anyway,
different raffle.
squatting meme, as you can see, dots here. It's a very much mirrors this right here. And this right here is an image that came from a lab experiment trying to essentially show what would happen during the geomagnetic excursion, what people would see in the sky. These would be, squatting man would be like the warning sign sprite. You know what sprites are? Those atmospheric lightning plasma strikes.
Yeah.
Very rare. Well, a much rarer phenomenon. What's going on? But it's speculated that they drew this in the caves. All of these are in caves because that's where they were driven to during this event, and what they saw in the sky when it was happening. Would have
Even
been
a cave isn't safe at that point.
no, but where else do you go?
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did see some shit like that? I'm going into a cave or a hole or you know, like
I'm digging. I'm digging for sure.
I'm doing something, and it's part of the reason why I started diving into history along with all of this stuff. You find out about places like this.
Yeah.
Hard to see. Airways and all that. This is a place called Derinkuyu. Okay? It's over in Turkey. Where Göbekli Tepe and a bunch of places are right over there in the Middle East area, right by the Cape of Africa, connection point of Africa.
Right.
So ancient Samaria was around there. All kind of shit was. That would have been where ancient Babylon was and stuff. So wild zone. But Derinkuyu is. Oh, is it gonna let me cycle through them? Okay, it's fine.
So this appears to be like, I mean, a city underground.
Capable of housing, I believe, 10,000 people. They had places for cattle. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This wasn't the only one. So, and let me see if I can find.
Here's my question, real quick.
Shoot.
Sorry, after my lungs reset. Do you
Heard.
think? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you see, while you're talking,
do you think this
look
is
at all
a
this shit.
bunker?
Yeah, 100%.
A solution to. Let me finish. A solution to a means, or a result of the casualty.
Meaning.
Or do you want me to elaborate on what I'm asking?
Elaborate on what you're asking.
Did they make it because they knew it was coming? Did they make it because shit was happening and they had to do what they had to do? Or did they make it in response because that shit happened? As in for future proofing. Because how you gonna? I mean, I'm not down or anything. I'm sure there were signs. I'm sure they were like, "Hey, some crazy shit's about to happen." Like, you know.
That's a tough question. There could have been signs. There could have been warnings. As we discussed the other day when we were talking about the Dogon people and ancient humans knowledge of the stars and how our universe and solar system works,
Hmm.
you have to realize they lived in a world, as far as we know, without modernity. So
Mhm.
they had to do the work and then all kind of free time. Now, granted, they had much more work. They had to survive. They had to, every day you waking up and doing chores like it's your job so you can
Yeah,
survive. But
exactly.
the nighttime comes around, you got chores done for the day, ate food. What you doing? Sitting there staring at a wall?
No,
Nah,
you're
bro.
thinking.
Thinking. You looking up at the sky. Ain't got no light pollution back then.
Zero. Yeah.
So they're seeing on a nightly basis, unless they got clouds or something, an unadulterated look at the sky. They can see the Milky Way and how it looks and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like they can see all of that. So it's entirely possible that there were signs that they were able to see. Or what I kind of lean to, I don't believe that that was the first time it's happened.
Yeah.
Right? I don't personally know how old the Kuyu is.
True.
It may have been used more than once for this very purpose. See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I suppose to answer your question, I imagine at a certain point it was made in response,
Hmm.
but
Facilitated itself as a bunker.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
perhaps the first time that this happened before they us our earlier ancestors were more aware and shit, their gut reaction was, okay, we need to build some shit in these mountains, like right now, in case that shit happens again.
Yeah.
And then they did. And then that's probably where the stories came from. A lot of the old,
Right.
like when you start digging into ancient mythology, every single one of them have some sort of cosmic sky battle scenario, whether it's the Vedic
Yeah.
texts from India and their speak of Vimanas and giant death weapons and all kind of crazy shit, to, you know, the events outside of the flood that destroyed certain civilizations and shit that were called acts of God, whether they were, you know what I mean? Like there's,
Hmm.
it's it's entirely possible and likely that we had a proper picture of what happened back in this time, and it was attempted to be passed down to us, and perhaps somebody didn't want us to know that. And that's why events like the burning of Korea happen,
Hmm.
different events like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's a cutoff point.
yeah. And it allows you like if we could just go reference the Library of Alexandria, theoretically. Still there, and people could just like, in today's age, they imagine they probably digitize some of the library. If you could just go on a
Yeah.
website, look through that information, there's no way they would want it. And
True.
we're not naive enough, I would imagine. At least is okay with the idea of letting go of being that roller
Yeah.
existence that we live.
Yeah.
They
Like
all day about who they are, but we know there's some niggas running this shit. And
someone's there, bro.
there's
Someone's
shit they
behind the
don't want us
scenes.
to know.
There is. There is. Because man, if you're playing like a game, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
on that subject. Anyone who tunes into this, they've played Monopoly, they've played Stratego, they've played chess, they've played a card game, they've played a video game. There's always gonna be that urge and that desire to have that secret shit. You want to keep what you do a secret. You don't want them to have your shit.
That's
We
it.
we fly over here because I know this. I'm trying to make sure that they ain't doing what they want to do. You
Yeah.
know, so if you had some monumental knowledge,
Game changing shit.
you're keeping it to yourself. You're gonna use it to your benefit. Man, yeah. I mean, it's as simple as that. I never have doubt in people, and I understand the naivety, but also I feel like part of it might be hope.
I think a little bit, a decent amount of it is that, for sure.
Yeah, and it's always. I mean, in this day and age, it's almost like we're numb to it, you know.
Yeah.
But there is that you got to take your spoonful of sugar with your medicine, but at the same time, you still got to take that medicine, dog. You still got to let that shit hit you, and you got to accept it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Can't hide from it. We not ostriches. Can't hide
We
nothing.
not. We can't. You can't. Nope. You gotta ask questions. You gotta look into things.
Got to.
Mm.
Damn.
Man.
Well, sir,
Yeah,
it'd be a good
I
time for
think.
us to wrap this one up first.
I think. I think this is a solid first issue.
So too.
Couple of generic topics, some good little stories to look down into. Um, appreciate all of you guys coming for the exchange.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We look forward to changing more in the future.
By all means,
Every Saturday night around this time. Maybe a little
Saturday
earlier
night.
next time. We'll shoot for
Try
midnight.
try to do like midnight, 11:30. Maybe the earliest time when we really get things going is 11.
Yeah. That'd be
That'd
solid.
be the perfect swing option. Um, I mean, yeah, nothing. I think we're gonna roll out some social medias here coming in the future. Oh yeah. Other than
Those of us
that,
who jump on now. I get
absolutely.
no.
All right, this is Kid.